Chris Simon, cards as a second language. Cards as a second language, Chris Simon.
Today, I want to talk to you about something that is truly universal. Something that can unite everybody from around the entire world. Something small enough to fit in your pocket. Not your phone, but simply a deck of cards. 52 rectangular pieces of paper. If you grew up in the US, you were probably introduced to cards at a young age. Whether it be Go Fish, Old Maid, Solitaire. If you've never played cards in your life, then you probably need a refresher on your childhood days. Naturally, when I went to Chile to meet my in-laws for the very first time, I packed all the essentials. My passport, my toothbrush, and of course, a deck of cards. Because you never know. And it turns out that deck of cards was far more useful than my toothbrush. I was on my way to Chile with the Spanish vocabulary of ¿Cómo estás? How are you? And bien. I'm good. Not a good combination for very long conversations, but I had to do what I could. We arrived in Chile, and my in-laws' house was beautiful. On the left, you had the living room, gigantic Chilean flag. Looked straight back, the backyard, green grass and an in-ground pool. On the right, we had the dining room and the kitchen. My in-laws were clearly not dealt a card that said, Chris does not speak Spanish, because they were talking to me faster than a caffeinated Toastmaster who thought the theme of the night was Fast and Furious. For 30 minutes, I stood there like this, just hoping they were not asking me any questions. Do you know how painful it is to smile like this for 30 minutes? I would not suggest ever. Finally, I decided I needed a backup. I walked over my bag, got out my cards, and put them on the table. My father-in-law came walking over and says, cartas. Yes, something I understand. I brought the cards. I got out the cards. It was now my turn to teach the cards. I thought, what game would be the easiest to teach? Go Fish. The child's game, right? I was wrong. Go Fish is not easy to teach. I started out, the game is Go Fish. You want to get pairs, look around, blank, stared from everyone. Like any normal human being would do, I started acting out every story. I said, the game, called Go Fish. You want pairs, 2 at a time. It's good. And you know what? They understood and they loved it. Within 10 minutes, forget fishing, we were clearing out the entire lake. Shortly after we started, my father-in-law takes his pair of 7s, slams them on the table, and he's like, fish! I was like, I don't remember teaching you that rule, bud, but your house, so good for you. Later on, my mother-in-law, she's over here giving me high fives, even though we both lost. And my sister-in-law, she's across the table screaming. I'm still not sure what she was screaming about. By the end of the night, my father-in-law said to me, Chris, mañana, más cartas. Tomorrow, more cards. And that meant more to me than any perfectly conjugated Spanish verb ever could. The following night, we did play cards. However, apparently, mañana más cartas also means I'm going to invite the entire family. We were sitting there playing Go Fish, and the doorbell rang. It was 2 of my wife's cousins. I thought, okay, we can add 2 to our game. But then the doorbell rang again, and again, and again. By the time the doorbell stopped ringing, there was 23 of us playing Go Fish. We had to go to the store and get 5 more decks of cards just to play one game of Go Fish. It was by far the craziest game of Go Fish I have ever played in my life. But you know what? By the end of the night, I knew everybody's name, what they did for a living, and was practically fluent at cursing in Chilean style. You see, cards are magical. They work even when words don't. You don't have to have a shared language to laugh together, gesture wildly, or just over-celebrate winning. Sometimes all it takes is a deck of cards, a table, and the willingness to look a little ridiculous in front of your in-laws. My fellow Toastmasters and guests, the next time you find yourself somewhere unfamiliar, lost in translation, or just don't know what to say, remember, cards speak louder than words. They create memories, they start friendships, and best of all, no subtitles required. Thank you, and if anybody wants to learn from Go Fish, I now teach international.